Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving our praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostle of Millstone, and enough respect to the brothers that they're pushing and spreading the gospel of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai to the four corners of the world. Now, through the spreading power of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, I wanted to just do a quick lesson on this article, which is entitled, Until All Sanctions Are Lifted. Iran says war will continue and demands the U.S. pay for damages. Now, straight away, right? 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 30, it mentions the Carmanians, which are the Persians, which are the Iranians. It says also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as a wild boar. Right? The scripture says they shall go raging in wrath, and it was always anyone's guess as to what it is that was going to enrage them. And we got our answer, right? Unprovoked attacks. So that you see how they act when they are enraged, right? Even when Trump has hinted on peace talks, but Iran isn't trying to hear about any of that. Why? Because according to prophecy, when they go raging in wrath, and of course this isn't, this description here isn't talking about that the final climactic, clash between East and West. But here, we see previews to that prophecy happening, because we all know that, the book of Revelation says that the destruction, which is the lake of fire, only comes after people have received the chip, right? But we still see, part of the signs come to pass, pursuant to the book of 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. It says, when thou seest part of the signs come to pass, then shalt thou know, right? So we are, throughout Bahashem Yahushai, we are the few who are blessed with their mindset to read the, the situation as part of the signs of prophecy. So it says also the Carmanians, the Iranians, raging in wrath shall go forth as a wild boar of the wood, right? And with great power shall they come and join battle with them being the dragons of Arabia, and shall waste a portion of the land of Assyrians. So they will come up against America. That's what the Assyrians is talking about. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. When it says dragons, it's it's a lumping the dragons and the Carmanians together, right? Because it's a coalition. It begins with the dragons of Arabia, but we know the Carmanians are part of this coalition. So it says, then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them, then these, right, which is Assyrians or America, they shall be troubled, bled, and keep silence through their power, and shall flee, right? We're seeing that, we're also seeing part of that, being made manifest, right? Because Trump knows that he made a bad move. He knows it was a stupid fucking decision to go over there, but his pride is getting the better of him. So he's trying to be surreptitious in ending the war, but surprise, surprise, it's too late, because now you're dealing with a wild boar, right? A raging wild boar. And so it says that Iran will not end the hostilities until all sanctions on it have been lifted and the war damages are paid by the United States, right? And we see that this is a complete 180 from the political stance of America. They always say, we will not negotiate with tease. They will always say that. But now it seems as though they want to negotiate, okay? But again, they wanted to seem like they're winning, but they're bleeding, right? If not physically, they're bleeding, financially. That's why they even ended up lifting sanctions on oil. This is something that America never does, right? If they put the squeeze to you, they put the squeeze to you. They want you desolate. They want you pulverized. But here it seems like they have stepped in because the resistance that they met with is different from from what they're used to with the with the Afghanistans and the Somalians and the people who don't have missile launchers, people who don't have a proper infrastructure. And Iran is huge. It's almost the size of America. A lot of people don't know that. You know, Iran is huge, and so since Iran will not end the hostilities until all sanctions on it have been lifted and the war damages are paid by the United States. The war will continue until all damages to Iran are compensated and sanctions on it are lifted. Military advisor to Iran's Supreme Leader Mohsen Razi said. In addition to this, Razi asserted that Iran wants international guarantees of United States non-interference in the Islamic Republic's internal affairs. He added that this is a decision of the Iranian people. The Supreme Leader, Mojtaba Kamani, and armed forces. The statement came after the United States President Donald Trump softened his tone on the Middle East tensions and indicated that Washington and Tehran have began what he described as a very good and productive conversations aimed at a full resolution of the escalating conflict. And this is what the scripture talks about. They keep silence through their power, through their media. Because why would you say this when Iran's, because they keep making it seem as though the situation ain't that bad, but Iran would just come out here and say, nah, they're lying. No, we're bad, we're angry, we're fighting against them. They keep saying, well, we've intercepted, and I went, no, we struck them. Recently they surprised the entire Western Hemisphere with this new ballistic missile that, that they shot into. I think it was very far out to a certain island. I forgot the name of it, but no one knew they had missiles that could reach far enough. So now everybody understands that not only does Iran have the capability of shooting missiles that can overwhelm the Iron Dome, they can also shoot ballistic missiles that are far enough to reach Europe. So the world is changing. Let the weak say I am strong. This is the Lord, putting the chess pieces in place. And it's undeniable, This is why, if you were, for those who stood, firmly and continue on the faith in prophecy, even though things were not popping off as it was supposed to be, or to the point where it was undeniable, the Lord has rewarded our faith. And the rest of them were put to shame. Those who forsook the faith, those who turned their back on it, they are now put to shame. And while we rejoice, they are frightened. While we call for the escalation, they're trying to call for de-escalation. But the Lord will appear to our joy and have this thing kick off, because it's the only way that we will find peace. It's the only way we will be redeemed. It's the only way that Yahushua receives that which has been given to him, which is the world. Okay? That the devil has laid claim to this world for too long. It has to be taken away from him. And this is the only way that it is done. All right? So it says, Trump, in fact, also said that he had ordered the postponement of any planned attacks on Iran power plants and energy infrastructure for 5 days to allow talks to continue. However, Tehran firmly rejected the claims of negotiations and stated that no talks have been. Hey, yo, so like, give me a minute. This is too funny. Oh man. Yeah. So it's a beautiful thing that the Lord is doing. I'm not like every line that I read, or at least every paragraph that I read, is so easy to just like reference and just show it being described in the scriptures. And it's a beautiful thing that the Lord has done. We don't even have to rely on imaginations anymore. Okay, so they're trying to, keep silence. So, yo, so like, yeah. All right, so Second Ezra 50th chapter, describes this conflict. Now, of course, we know that the whole fulfillment of this prophecy is not, it's not yet, because you got Carmadians going against some of the dragons of Arabia, but eventually they will turn around because they're finding out that America has not been protecting them, right? So they are also suffering the consequences of reckless warfare by America. And it's only a matter of time until they say we don't want any more U.S. bases in our land. And hey, who knows what will go off from there? Okay, so and we see the Lord turning things around, right? For those people who were carnal, they looked at Russia, what was going on in Russia, and how Russia started a war. That's that they actually that they're struggling with, and people say, well, that's it. Russia is gonna fall off the face of the map. This is a bad war they started, and it was gonna ruin them. But check this out: when the Lord put the pieces together, what now? Their economy is it's revived because of the lack of oil, and this is something that America hates, right? You even got the uh, the African nations who are, especially Nigeria, who's also making money because America can't. They don't have that market, right? They don't dominate that market anymore. So this is all the work of the Lord, right? The East is being strengthening. They are going into a warlike mind state. They're sticking together, and the West is just going downhill. All right. And so, yeah, forward. It says this will lead into the uh, the strong winds, right, which talks about the missiles, and yeah, it describes the battle. It describes the death, okay, the dung of men, and yep, fire and hail and flying swords and many waters. That all fields may be full in all rivers with abundance of great waters, right? And let's see, right? It says, "And thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and are the glory of a person." And when you go into the word Asia, the root word of Asia, it means to rise, right? It's synonymous with the word Levant, and which is the area in which the Valley of Jehoshaphat is also is, right? The area between the the I think the Euphrates and what is it? Let me see, uh, the East Sea. It's supposed to be in the book of Joel. Oh, the utmost sea. Is that it? Nah, let me just go to Joel. Oh man, I'm sleeping right now. Well, the third chapter. I think the word is used as the utmost. uh, second chapter. Yeah, Joel, the second chapter. But I will move far from off you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face towards the east sea, and his hindermost towards the utmost sea. Right? So the east sea would be the Euphrates, and the utmost sea will be in the opposite direction, which is the Red Sea. So this is the boundaries of the Valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, and this is where the Lord will gather the heathens, and we see Him masterfully creating the courses or causes for, I think it's called the law of causality. you know, if you watch the movie The Matrix, the second one, it really explains, how the a lot of these programs. I'm not gonna go into it right now, but it's a fucking great movie. The Matrix. It's like the greatest movie ever made. It is the greatest movie ever made, the trilogy. But yeah, they explain the law of causality, and the Lord is just creating. That's what He's doing, right? He's giving these heathens reasons to go in there, and the reasons are so good that no one can resist the will of the Lord, and that's where they're gonna end up. So I think that's a place called the Levant. And when you go into the word Levant, let's see, Levant. It means the rising sun. And when you go to the word Asia, so they say it comes from the word, Asu, which is Assyria, and it just means east or the land of sunrise. Okay, and yeah, so that's what the word Asia really means, and so it's just saying that area and Babylon, they share the same fate, which is destruction by thermonuclear missile. So let me read it one more time. Verse 46, 2 Ezra 15:46, and thou, Asia, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of a person. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee, which is simply meaning that they've been found, they've been, the Lord has convicted them of wickedness. Especially with Esau in there. That's why the scripture says, "Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. And even in the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly." So even in there, that's where he does his wickedness. In fact, that has been the headquarters of wickedness. All the crazy shit that's going on in the world right now has been originating from there. Edomites in there. Okay, and their twisted view of the world, okay, and their ambitions to rule the world. So yeah, that's pretty much it on that. I hope I wasn't too much all over the place. So just to sum it up, this video was just to show and tell of the Carmanians, the Iranians, exhibiting the character of that raging wild boar. And I just went into the book of 2 Ezra to to prove that it's actually in the scriptures. And yeah, the article, I paired it with an article, and then I went into how ultimately that clash between the Carmanians and the Assyrians of Babylon would destroy Asia and also America. So that's pretty much it on that. In closing, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakha Kodash, Shalom, Yahweh, Shemina Shai, Brakatham, to all your Akims and Akwafs that are listening in truth and sincerity. May the blessing of blessing be upon our house. And until next time, Shalom.